All right, welcome back to Game 4 of the 2023 ALDS replay featuring Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Baltimore is going to be on the road for Game 4. This is game number 2 in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is up 2-1 in this series and looking to close this one out in this best of 5. They'll be the whoever advances here will be the first one to advance into the ALCS. All right, let's get right into it. For Baltimore, their lineup is going to be Henderson leading off, playing shortstop. Adley Rutschman is the catcher. He's hitting second. Santander is the DH. He's hitting third. Mountcastle is in the cleanup spot. Aaron Hicks gets a start in Game 4. And Austin Hayes is going to be moved down to the 6th spot. Westberg is playing second. He is hitting 7th. Sed Mullins is hitting 8th and playing center field, and Ramon Urias is the third baseman. He is in the 9th spot. Pitching is going to be Kyle Gibson, right-handed pitcher, can go 24 batters. A 440 FIP is going to put him in this third column here, and let's see if Baltimore can, well, let's just see how this one plays out. Gibson, a very good pitcher in 2023, but let's see how he does against this Devil Rays team. For the Rays, it's going to be Yandy Diaz leading off, playing first base. Arozarena is in left, and he's hitting second. Josh Lowe is in right. He's hitting third. I think I've been calling him Brandon Lowe, but it's actually Josh who's the one who's starting, so sorry for any Rays fans out there. Harold Ramirez is the 4-hole hitter. He's the DH. Paredes is at third base. He is hitting 5th. I'm going to put in Jose Siri into center field for Manuel Margot. Margot hasn't just been lighting it up, and Siri gives us a few other options here. Same batting column, so we don't lose anything there, but we get a plus defender and plus speed. So we'll see if that plays out here. So we got a couple of fast guys. Walls is a shortstop. He's going to hit 7th. Mead, so we'll flip-flop these two. Mead is going to be at second base, hitting 8th, and then Rene Pinto gets the start again at catcher. The other catcher is Christian Betancourt, and maybe a little more speed, but not really a better option. So we're just going to go with that. And then starting on 4 days rest is going to be Tyler Glasnow. You know, the Rays just aren't as deep in their starting pitching. So we got Glasnow coming back on 4 days rest, and he will start. So we'll be cognizant of the fact that he went 8 innings in his first start. Probably won't go as far in the second start, even if he's pitching well. So we'll see how that works out. Maybe the dice won't lie, and he'll be rocked a little bit in this one. We'll see. Right-handed pitcher, 23 is his stamina, and he's pitching out of this column 1, a 308 Sierra. So one of the best pitchers in the American League, and let's see how he does here in this closeout game. So if Tampa Bay wins this, they will be on to the next round, and if Baltimore wins, then we will be going to a deciding game 5. So let's get this one started. Leading off for Baltimore is going to be Henderson. Gunnar Henderson, the young rookie. Left-handed batter, 17 batting runs, and right off the bat, he's got a 22. And a 22 to a 17 is going to be a possible triple, but most likely a double, but it is a triple. So right off the bat, triple to right field for Gunnar Henderson. And he is on his horse and slides in safely to third. And just like that, the O's are in business. A 36 to a 22 is going to be a fly ball. That goes out to right center field, and that will be caught by the center fielder, Siri. And we're going to try to score that run from third. Gunnar Henderson is a 7 speed, so 1 to 7, he'll be safe. He is in there. It almost flipped over to the 9, but it didn't. And he is going to be in there with the sac fly. So Baltimore, just like that, 2 batters in, takes a 1-0 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. And Santander comes to the plate with 1 out and nobody on. A 36, that'll also be a fly ball out to center field. Can of corn for the center fielder Siri, and he makes the play for out number 2. Ryan Mountcastle to the plate, first baseman. 8 batting runs in 2023. 25 is going to be a fly ball out to center field. So testing Siri on this one, who hasn't played the whole series, but he is on the run and he makes the catch for out number 3. No problem there. So 3 down for Baltimore, as they do score 1 on the sac fly by Adley Rutschman. For the Rays, it'll be Diaz, Arozarena, and Lowe, and the 14 is going to be a killer, as right off the bat, Yandy Diaz goes down the right field line, and he'll wind up at second base with a double. Brings up Randy Arozarena. 16 to Arozarena is going to be a fly ball to deep left center field, caught at the track by the left fielder, who's playing left, Hayes, and that's going to advance the runner on the F7. So 1 out with a runner at third base, and Josh Lowe to the plate. A 15 from Lowe is nothing here off the pitcher, and a 15 is going to be a ground out. That goes to the shortstop. That's going to score a run as they're playing back, and we'll call that a fielder's choice. That's 2 outs, and so the game is tied on that grounder to short as Diaz comes in to score. Brings up Harold Ramirez. Ramirez with a ground out, and that goes to shortstop as well. Henderson over to first is going to make the out, and that ties our ball game at 1 as we head to the top of the second inning. It'll be Hicks, Hayes, and Westberg for the Birds. Here's a deep fly ball that goes out to right field. Going back on it is the right fielder Lowe, and he is able to make the play just short of the warning track, and that's out number 1. A long, loud out. So brings up Austin Hayes. Hayes 8 batting runs in 2023. Facing off against Glasnow. 35 to Hayes is going to be a strikeout as Glasnow gets him looking. That's his first strikeout of the game. He had a whole lot in the last game. His last start, what did he have? 9 Ks in 8 innings. So Westberg up now. Westberg is playing second base. He's a right-handed batter. -1 batting runs. He's got a 34. That could be trouble. 34 to a -1 is going to be a double as he rips that one into the right center field gap. He's going to be into second standing up, and that is a 2-out double. Should be a 2. So 2 down, runner in scoring position. Base hit's going to score a run for said Mullins. 26 is going to be a strikeout though. And he strikes out swinging. He can't catch up to the Glasnow fastball. And that is all she wrote in the second inning. We go to the bottom of the second. Tampa Bay and Baltimore are tied at 1. And for Tampa Bay, it'll be Paredes, Siri, and Walls. So 22 to Paredes. So 22 is going to be nothing here. And for Paredes, it's going to be a double. So a double to straightaway center. 1 hops the wall over the center fielder's head. Center fielder is Mullins. He couldn't get to that line drive. And so that's going to be a runner in scoring position with with nobody out. A 34 to a 3 batting runs is going to be another double, this time to right center field, as Siri goes the other way and coming off the bench. First start of the series, Siri delivers in his first at bat. That puts Tampa Bay up 2-1, and that'll bring up Walls, the shortstop. 14 off of the pitcher is going to be another double, as he laces one off the top of the wall. This is going to be an RBI as he brings in Siri from second base. And 2 runs are in the bottom of the second inning off of Kyle Gibson. Gibson comes back against Meade. A 35 to a -1 is going to be a strikeout. So Gibson comes back strong. That'll be the first out of the inning. We have a runner at second base with really good speed. And let's see what Pinto does. Pinto at 22. That's going to be a double for Rene Pinto. as he laces one into the alleyway in left center, and they are just peppering that wall. As the ball rolls all the way to the wall, doubles abound, 4 doubles in the inning. And how long can we stick with Kyle Gibson? Can he at least get through 2? 23 is going to be a ground ball to third base. Let's see if he makes the play. Oh, possible error. Third baseman is Urias, and he's going to make the error, so we're going to go E5. And that's going to keep the inning alive. That pushes the runner to third base on the throwing error. We got runners at the corners with 1 out. A 25 is going to be a fly ball out to center field. The play is made in center field by Sed Mullins. And Pinto with the speed of 1. We're not going to even try that. So we got runners at the corners with 2 outs. Gibson trying to get out of this one. That's a ground ball to the first baseman, and the first baseman Mountcastle is able to make the play. He pitches to the catcher, or the pitcher covering, and he makes the out. But the the Rays, they score 3 and they take a 4-1 lead over the Baltimore Orioles. Brings up Urias. Urias gets things started right with a base hit. That's down the right field line, just past the first baseman. Diaz couldn't get to that ball, and Urias is at first with nobody out. Brings up the top of the order with Gunnar Henderson. Henderson with triple in his first at bat. He's going to strike out here as he gets caught looking, and that's out number 1. So 1 down. Third K of the day for Glasnow. 1 down. Adley Rutschman to the plate. A 24 is going to be a double play as a little number out in front of the plate is pounced on by the catcher Pinto. He goes 2 to 6 to 3, and that is going to be all she wrote in the was this the 3rd inning? So the 2-6-3 double play ends the inning, and we head to the bottom of the 3rd. 4-1 is our score. Tampa over Baltimore. A 23 is a ground ball back to the pitcher. No error, as Gibson gets it over to first, and that is out number 1. Trying to gut through some innings here for Gibson. 15 to a 25. That's going to be a ground out. That's hard hit right to the third baseman, though. And Urias is up with it and over to first. And that's out number 2. Next up is Jose Siri. Siri, longtime Astro, and playing with the Devil Rays in 2023. He is a 3 batting run, so a 45 to a 3 is going to be a fly ball. That's out to right center field. On the run is Josh Lowe, and he's going to make a nice running catch for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down inning for Kyle Gibson. Keeps Baltimore in the game. It's 4-1, and Baltimore looking to make an advance here. This will be a fly ball out to straightaway right field. No error on the play. And the right fielder is Lowe, who makes the catch for out number 1. Ryan Mountcastle to the plate. He flied out to center field in his first at-bat. 15 to Mountcastle is going to be a base hit. That's past the first baseman, Diaz. And into right field, he stays at first after a big turn. And that'll bring up Aaron Hicks. Hicks flied out in his first at-bat, but here he's going to strike out as he gets caught looking as well. That's strikeout number 4 for Tyler Glasnow. So 2 down in the inning with a runner at first base. Austin Hayes comes to the plate. Hayes with a 55. A 55 to an 8 is going to be a, what is that? A foul out. And that foul ball is going to go to, well, not him. Okay, so he fouls it off down the right field line. Into foul territory is the right fielder, Lowe, and he'll make the catch on the wrong side of the chalk. And that's going to be out number 3. So to the bottom of the 4th we go, and it is Tampa leading 4-1. Tampa wins this game, they will go on to the ALCS. If not, then we'll be headed to a game 5. We get a strikeout here as Wall stands in and strikes out, swinging. So Kyle Gibson, just his second strikeout of the day. And it'll be Mead to the plate. Mead is a -1, 56 to a -1. It's going to be a strikeout. So back-to-back Ks for Kyle Gibson. Sometimes these papers move all around while we're doing this. So back-to-back strikeouts for Kyle Gibson, and that'll bring up Rene Pinto. So back-to-back as Kyle Gibson tries to put that 3-run second inning behind him. He's given up 4 runs in 4 innings, and he just struck out the side. He's got 3 innings against the middle and bottom of the order. Go to the top of the 5th inning, 4-1 Baltimore, and Glasnow is going to be facing Westberg, Mullins, and Urias. Westberg is going to take a mighty cut and come up empty. He's now 1 for 2. Sad Mullins to the plate. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout, and he's going to have something good here. Let's see what it is. 22, so that's going to be a double into the right center field gap as he laces it between the outfielders. And that's going to get all the way to the wall. Mullins is going to be standing up at second base. He exhorts his teammates, and he is now 1 for 2. The runner in scoring position for Urias. Baltimore desperately needing some kind of offense to get going here. They got a man in scoring position. 35 is going to be a strikeout. And Glasnow comes back with the K. 2 strikeouts in the inning and 2 outs in the inning. And now we go back to the top of the order with Gunnar Henderson. Henderson 1 for 2. 15 is going to be a ground out to the shortstop. Goes a long way, and that's going to be out number 3. So Baltimore threatens in the 5th, but they can't get a run home. And we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 4-1 is our score. And let's see if Gibson can get them through another inning. An 11 to a 46 batting runs. It's Yandy Diaz at the plate. He's going to double to right center field. That has been the theme for the Tampa Bay Rays in this one. Brings up Arozarena. Arozarena is 0 for 2 with a couple flyouts. 66 is going to be a long single. That's going to score the run from second base. That's a terrible box. And that's an RBI single for Arozarena, and that's going to knock Kyle Gibson out of the game. It's 5-1, and we're going to get a new pitcher for the O's. All right, new pitcher for Baltimore is going to be Jack Flaherty. Right-handed pitcher, can go 19 batters as a stamina. 3.92 is his Sierra, so he's coming out of this second column. He replaces Kyle Gibson. 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, no walks, and 4 Ks. The killer was this 3-run second inning. Otherwise, he's pitched actually pretty well. He's on the hook for this run here, and we'll see if Flaherty can shut things down. He's got nobody out and 1 on. We're going to try to steal with Randy Arozarena. 1-6, he's going to be safe. It's a 7, and he's out. So Arozarena gets caught stealing. That's a nice gift. And 1 down now. With so that closes the book officially on Gibson. 1 down with Josh Lowe at the plate. 35 from Flaherty is going to be a strikeout as he gets low looking. So the defensive replacement there with the pitcher pays off dividends immediately, and that brings up Harold Ramirez. Ramirez, of 45, is going to be a single through the left side, and he's going to be on base for the first time in this game. Ramirez, no threat to steal. Brings up Isaac Paredes. Paredes is a 25 batting run, so 56 to him is going to be a hit by pitch. We got a 1 there, so he's going to get hit by the pitch from Flaherty. Flaherty not happy with himself. Not trying to put base runners on here. Brings up Jose Siri. Siri with a double in his first at bat, and he's going to fly out here to straightaway right field. And the right fielder is going back on it. That's Hicks, and he's going to make the play over his shoulder. Nice running catch from Hicks to save a couple of runs. And so we go to the top of the 6th inning. Good job by Jack Flaherty, by the way. And maybe he can squeeze out 2 or 3 innings for the O's and see if they can chip back at the lead in this one. Go to the top of the 6th. It is It is, there's a run in there we didn't count here. So that's a 1. So it's 3, 4, 5 to 1. We're at the middle of the order for the O's. Glasnow with the strikeout. He can go 23 batters. He's at 19 right now. I think instead of allowing him to drop down and stay in the game, we'll just take him out. That's the effect of the starting on 4 days rest. So they're really trying to close this one out and looking good so far. Let's see if everybody can hold here. Santander over 2. A 15 is going to be a ground out. That's right back to the pitcher, Glasnow. Glasnow half sprints to first, underhands it to the first baseman, and that's out number 2. Here's a Ryan Mountcastle. Mountcastle with a 45. He's 1 for 2 on the day. 45 is going to be a fly ball. That's out to right field down the line. Coming in hard to it is Lowe, and he will make a nice catch as it hangs up for him at the line. 1, 2, 3 goes Baltimore in the 6th, and we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Tampa Bay is up 5 to 1. Jack Flaherty still on the mound, and he is pitching out of the second column, by the way. So 26 to a -7 is going to be a ground out. That goes to the shortstop. The shortstop is Gunnar Henderson. He gets it over to Mountcastle for out number 1. Brings up Curtis Mead, and Mead is going to be a strikeout victim as Jack Flaherty gets his second strikeout of the game. And brings up Rene Pinto. Pinto with a line drive, and that's be a line out to the first baseman. So Mountcastle makes a nice play. Jack Flaherty 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 6th, and we head to the top of the 7th inning. It's 5-1. 5 to 1. Tyler Glasnow is at 18, 19, 20, 1, 2. He can go one more inning. Let's give him one more inning. And let's see if it all blows up in my face here. 15 is going to be a base hit. That's through the left side as Hicks shoots it through the left side for a base knock. Let's go ahead and send him to second base. See if he can make it. 1 to 6. He's safe. Sorry. Oh, and he is out. Caught stealing as the catcher Pinto gets him at second. Base runners are hard to come by. Let's see how this one goes. 45 to Hayes is going to be a fly out to center field. No problem out there in center field for Jose Siri. He makes the catch for out number 2. Brings up Westberg. Westberg is the second baseman, and he is going to strike out. So final batter for Tyler Glasnow is a strikeout, and after giving up a leadoff single, doesn't give up anything else as they get a caught stealing, and that helps to aid the inning for Tampa Bay. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Back to the top of the order with Yandy Diaz. We'll give Flaherty one more inning, see if he can just take care of things here. Diaz is going to take a walk on at 35, and he'll be on at first with nobody out. No threat to steal there with Yandy Diaz, but a Rosarena to the plate. A Rosarena is a 20, and that's going to be a ground out to the shortstop. So we're going to go the short way. They only get one. And so Rosarena is going to be on at first with a 6'4", 6'4" fielder's choice. We're sending a Rosarena. He's going to take off stealing. 1 to 6, he's safe, and he's in there easily. And stolen base for Rosarena. Brings up Josh Lowe. 56 to Lowe is going to be a walk. So we got runners at first and second now with Ramirez coming to the plate. A 12 to Ramirez is a ground out with a runner advance, so that's going to be a little dink right past the pitcher's left side, and it's grabbed by the third baseman or the second baseman. The only play is to first. That's out number 2. All the runners are going to move up on the fielder's choice. And that will be Paredes to the plate with 2 on the pond. Base hit, scores 2 runs. That's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop, and the shortstop Henderson has no problem with it as he wings it over to first for the 3rd out. A lot of traffic on the bases for Tampa Bay, but no run score. We head to the top of the 8th inning. We're going to get a new pitcher for the Rays. All right, the pitcher for the Rays is Stevenson. His name is Robert Stevenson. He's a right-handed pitcher, can go 3 batters, a 1.78 Sierra, not ERA, but Sierra, in 2023 in 38 1/3 innings pitched, so not a fluke. Pitched extremely well for the Rays. I held him back out of the game yesterday just so that he could come in and hold things down in this game. He's replacing Tyler Glasnow, 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 7 Ks. Excellent start. So between his 2 starts, he's got he's pitched 15 innings and has given up 4 runs in 15 innings with 16 strikeouts. So excellent pitching performance. He is on the hook for the win and probably player of the game honors. Although Diaz has been playing really well in this one. Doesn't have a lot of RBIs, but has been on base and has scored 2 runs. So we head to the top of the 8th inning. Stevenson will face off against Mullins, Urias, and then back to the top of the order with Henderson. Let's see if Baltimore can get something going here. Stevenson will be pitching out of this first column, and because of that, he's going to get Seb Mullins looking. Nasty breaking ball, and that's out number 1. Urias to the plate. 14 to a -1. It's going to be a walk as Stevenson loses his control a little bit. That puts Urias at first with Henderson at the plate. They can pop one up here. Can make the game interesting. A 33 could be just that. A 33 to a out of this column here, though. It's going to be a base hit. That's down the right field line. It is a hit, but it would have been a double for Henderson if the pitcher had not been into that top column. So a single down the line. Both runners are going to move up, and the one runner is going to move up. That's going to be 2 on for Adley Rutschman. A home run here makes it super interesting, but he's going to get a 24. A 24 is going to be a double play to the catcher. Again, we're going to go 2 to 6 to 3, and that's going to be out at second for out number 2, and out at first for out number 3. Great play by the catcher as he makes the play. Pinto makes the play to second, and then shortstop is Walls over to first, and they're out of the 8th. So Tampa Bay comes up in the bottom of the 8th. They're leading 5-1. Baltimore yet to put much of a dent in the scoreboard. And Jack Flaherty. Let's go into the line for Jack Flaherty and bring in our new pitcher. All right, the new pitcher for the O's is going to be Yennier Cano. Right-handed pitcher, can go 4 batters. 298 is his Sierra, so he's coming out of this column 1, and all he does is strike people out. He's faced something like 10 players in this series. Is it this series? No, 10 players in this playoffs, and he struck out 9 of the 10 batters that he faced. He went 2 innings back in game number 2 and struck out 6 in 2 innings. He gave up 1 hit, so 6 of the 7 batters. And then the previous game that he came into, he struck out the side. So he struck out 9 of the 10 players that he's faced in the playoffs. And it will come in to replace Flaherty. Flaherty, very admirable. 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks and 2 Ks. And everybody's going to be wondering, why didn't you start Flaherty over Kyle Gibson? Probably an excellent question to ask the manager. Although Gibson 15-9 on the season, it's not like he was chopped liver. So he just gave up the 3 runs, man, in the 2nd inning. Gosh. Not a bad call by me. So don't get up all on me. All right. Cano. Let's see if he can strike out more batters. He's facing Siri, Walls, and Mead. He's not going to strike out the first one. 14 is going to be a walk. That's a 4. So he's going to start off with a walk. We're going to keep Siri at first, even though he's super fast. They're up 5-1. No need to do anything more with that. Another walk, as back-to-back walks is never how you want to start things, but he's got the fastball and the stuff to get out of it just as easily. So here's Mead, second baseman. 23 is going to be a ground ball. That goes to somebody. That goes to the third baseman, and the third baseman is Urias. Let's see if he makes the play. He does not. That's going to be an E5. So, as sometimes happens, the wheels of the bus are falling off. And infield is going to play in. Any double plays are going to go home to first. Any ground balls are going to go to home plate for the fielder's choice. 22, it's not going to matter here, as a 22 is a blank. And a 22 for Pinto is going to be a 888. Can you believe it? Clear the bases. That's going to be a 3 RBI triple, and this game is all but done, as everybody comes around to score. On the triple from the catcher, let's see, did he have any triples on the year? Rene Pinto. He did not have any triples on the year. So first triple of the year for Rene Pinto is a big one. That's a 3 RBI hit. He's got 4 RBIs. He's 2 for 4. Maybe he's the player of the game. It's now 8-1 Tampa Bay. And Baltimore thought they were going to get some relief here from the strikeout man Cano, but instead he is just giving it up, and he lays one over the plate. A 45 is going to be a bomb to right center field. He tries to gas and pump up and gas Diaz, and Diaz says nope, as he crushes one to right center field, just to the right of center, and that is quite an exclamation point. Diaz now 3 for 4 in the game, and here's a 56. Mercifully, he's going to get a strikeout of a Rosarena, who watches it go by, a little frustrated that he can't get into the hit parade. And that is actually, if you can believe it, the first out of the inning. That was actually a 2 home run, or a 2 RBI home run there, wasn't it? That brought in Pinto from third, and 5 runs in the inning. 10-1 is our score. Lowe is up to the plate. A 33 is going to be a single. That's up the middle. Lowe standing at first base, and all the good numbers are coming out against Cano. 36 is going to be a fly ball. Yep, a fly out to left center field. Ranging over is the left fielder, Hayes, and he's going to make the catch for out number 2. 2 down, 10-1 is our score. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and it is a victory lap for Tampa Bay, as they're going to go on to Game 5. I'm sorry, to the ALCS with a win here. A 45 to a 25 is going to be another base hit that goes through the left side, past the shortstop, and with 2 outs, the runner makes it to third. And that will be runners at the corners for Jose Siri. 23 is going to be a grounder to second base, and the second baseman makes the play, and that'll be out number 3. So that's Westberg to Mountcastle. 5 runs come in the inning. That makes it 10-1. We're going to the top of the 9th. Stevenson needs to be replaced. Actually, he hasn't pitched. Let's just leave him in the game. We'll just drop him down a column and see if he can just get these last 3 outs. He's facing Santander, Mountcastle, and Hicks. 25 is going to be a fly ball to center field, And no problem out there in center field for Siri as he makes the catch for out number 1. 2 down, or 1 down, and Mountcastle to the plate. Mountcastle 1 for 3. 26 is going to be not a strikeout. What is that? 26 to Mountcastle is a ground out to first base. As he chops it to first, and the first baseman, Diaz, is going to take it to the bag himself, and that'll be out number 2. Brings up Jordan Hicks. Aaron Hicks, sorry. He is 1 for 3. He's going to ground out to the first baseman. Let's see if flies out to left field. No, ground out to first. And that is going to be another play by Yandy Diaz, who throws it to the pitcher covering, and a 1-2-3 inning from Stevenson means that this game is over. And so is the series, as a definitive 10-1 win. Tampa Bay takes this series 3-1. Let's make sure that that's right. That's what they did. Yep, they were up 2-1. All right, so Tampa Bay takes this series behind a very strong Tyler Glasnow outing. Let me go ahead and come up with the totals, and we'll come right back and finish this one off. All right, and we're coming back with our totals here. For Baltimore, it's 1 run on 7 hits and 2 errors, both by the third baseman Urias. And the last one quite costly, with 2 runners on, led to the 3 RBI triple. For the Rays, it's going to be 10 runs on 12 hits, no errors. Played a clean game on defense. Tyler Glasnow with the win, 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 7 Ks. Stevenson with a couple of innings comes in and shuts down Baltimore the rest of the way. The loss goes to Kyle Gibson, who goes 5 innings, gives up 7 hits, 5 runs, and 4 Ks. The disaster inning was for Yennier Cano, 1 inning, 4 hits, 5 runs, but only 2. I think he only had 2 earned runs there, and then 2 walks and 1 strikeout. So the strikeout ball left him exactly when he needed it. They were down 5-1 already in the 8th, but gave up 5 more, and this game was put away late. Jack Flaherty, admirable pitching performance, 3 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 2 Ks. Player of the game is Yandy Diaz. He goes 3 for 4. Couple of doubles, a home run, 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. He threw in a walk for good measure. And Rene Pinto was 2 for 4 with a double, triple, and 4 RBIs. So maybe 1A and 1B. So excellent game from Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay flexed a little bit as they split in Baltimore, and then they go home and take 2 from the Orioles to head on to the ALCS. So they win this series 3-1. It was a best of 5, and we have one more ALDS, and that's going to be Houston hosting the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays won in round number 1, and Houston got the bye, so they're going to be hosting just like Baltimore did. Let's see if Houston can rise to the occasion and make it through, or will they get knocked off by the Blue Jays, who played really well against the Twins and advanced on to the ALDS. So in the National League, we have Los Angeles, who moved on. They'll be facing Miami in the NLCS. And then in the ALCS, we have one participant, and that's going to be Tampa Bay. And let's see how they're going to fare against whoever wins the next one. So next game up is going to be Toronto at Houston. That'll be game number 1. And I'll go ahead and post those. Trying to post one of these a day, but we're about to come into a stretch where I'm making a big move. So it might be a little bit before I continue to post along in this series, and we'll see how that goes as far as timing is concerned. All right, so Tyler Glasnow comes back on 4 days rest and puts this one away for the Rays, and this is the end of this one. This is played with On Base Baseball, the 2023 set. You can go to clarkandaddisongaming.com and pick up this set today. Play with these guys, whether you want to play with the cards, which every player is carded, or if you want to play with the roster sheets, which I have here. That's what I've been playing with. And either way is fine. You can use the on-base baseball score sheet. I have one by at-bats here, so you have 7 at-bats. And then it's got also space to write in your game totals, which I really like this one. It's an economy of space, but it also gives you the game totals if you want to keep those for posterity's sake, or if you want to transfer them into a score sheet or a spreadsheet or something like that and keep your stats. It's pretty easy to do. There's also one with a inning by inning traditional score sheet, but it doesn't have this game totals section. It's just whatever is over here is taken up, you know. Yeah, you have all the innings over here instead of the game totals, but everything else is going to be the same on the score sheet. So feel free to use that, and it works really well with transferring all of the batting, defense, and speed ratings to your score sheet. That way you can play right off the score sheet. So I'm not having to look at anything else. This is what I have, plus the dice, right? And the dice are easy, 2d6s. Don't need to be different colors. You're always reading the low die first, and then a d10. And if you roll a 0 or a 10 on your d10s, then you just simply re-roll to keep that 1 to 9. I had a question from a guy who's played a lot of my games and really has supported them very well over the years, and he was asking about rare plays. Like, how could you incorporate rare plays? And I think if you were playing with a D10 and you hit on the 0, that could be a rare play or an unusual play. I actually have a game called The Game of Dice Baseball, which you can get at thegameofdicebaseball.com. And that one has a list of like 100 rare plays for all different types of situations. So whether it's a strikeout or a walk, or there's a place for like just a general pitcher kind of rare play on the pitch, on the play, which is like wild pitches and stuff like that. So there's probably a way to incorporate that into on base, because we have so many different things. We have ground outs, we have fly outs, we have strikeouts, different kinds of hits, home runs. There's even rare plays for home runs. So like you get the occasional inside the park home run and stuff like that on those rare plays. So maybe at some point I can try to incorporate those, maybe pull those into the Max Fried replay for hit by pitch and walk. And, you know, there's just different things here that we can do that would allow for some of those rare plays to be brought in. And for that, you would need 2 D10s. So you would just have to provide an extra D10 to incorporate those rare plays. So maybe I can do something like that. I've also considered, I was telling him, I'm also considered in the past doing first base and third base coaches. So you have sort of a aggressive, passive, and normal first base and third base coach. And then you either roll at the beginning of the game to see which one of those, or you can choose which one of those you want to play with. So let's say you want any plays. So at third base, they would be handling tag ups from third base. They would be handling sending the runner home on a base hit or on a double. Or it would be tag ups on a fly ball. It would be runners advancing from second to third on a fly ball. And if they're more passive, then maybe there would be more chances to hold the runner and just kind of wait for the base hit. And then if they're aggressive, maybe the chance would be greater that they're going to tell them, come on to third base, or send them home on a tag up or on a base hit. So just kind of like if you wanted a more aggressive third base coach, and then you would just roll against what the coach did. So did they send them home? Did they hold them? And then, you know, just kind of change the percentages there. And one would be kind of a normal 50-50 type thing, and then passive would be fewer risky plays, and aggressive would be more risky plays. So kind of pushing the envelope, that type of stuff. So and it would probably, you know, it would only affect certain players. I wouldn't be sending a 2-speed guy on a base hit to left. So you just kind of had to work out like what would be the rules containing that. So it would be for players who are maybe 4 speed and up. So that kind of thing. So it's that was an interesting thought that I've had for probably a year and a half, and I just haven't done anything with it really. I've wanted to kind of make that a supplement that you could include with the game that would make it a little bit more interesting. And so you could either choose the aggression level that you wanted to use, or you could roll for that just to see, okay, today the third base coach, in this game is going to be passive, and the first base coach, who determines, how often do you steal, is going to be more aggressive. So maybe with a 4 or 5 steal speed guy, you're going to steal more often than you normally would. So just little things to think about. Those are little details that are not in the game that you could easily create sort of a third party kind of chart to incorporate some of those details and make it a little bit more maybe arcade is the way to say it, but a little bit more interesting in the game. Excuse me. And then the other thing I thought is bringing in, I have a fielding system that I've been developing for a couple of different games, actually. Precision baseball is what I'm using it for right now, as I'm developing that game more along the way. And it's basically a huge fielding set of charts. And those charts determine things like when to tag up and when to run against the outfield arm, when to run against the player's speed. There's double plays, and there, not everything can be brought over, but there's a huge fielding sheet. So like when you hit the ball to the second baseman with 1 out, there's a bunch of different things that you can roll against. And I have that set up for a 2d6 roll, or I have it set up for a 2d10 roll or a 3d10 roll. So you can actually, I don't think I have that here with me. Let me get that and I can show it to you. So rather than just talk about it, I'll show you. So this is it's a full-on like a fielding system. The pages on the back. The main piece that I'm thinking about is this this piece here. So you can see on a ground ball at normal depth with one runner at first base and the ball is hit, obviously with no outs or well, even with nobody out, I guess, but you're the idea is that with 1 or 2 outs is when you're going to use this sheet. But you have a runner at first, runner at second, first and second, runner at third, first and third, second and third, or bases loaded. And so when a ball is hit to the shortstop at normal depth, and then you look at the appropriate base situation, then you would roll. You can see it's got a 2d6 roll, a 2d10, and a 3d10 roll, and it's been sort of adapted for each of those. And then you've got these plays. So let's say, what is it? That's an 11. So if you roll an 11, a runner on first, and less than 3 outs, but greater than no outs. Because if it's hit to shortstop, no outs, you're going to throw it to first, right? I mean, that's just kind of what it is. So if it was 1 out or 2 outs, you would look here. If it's 1 out, then you can see there's a 6-4-3 grounded into double play. You could count that as, we'd have to think about grounded into double play, but it would probably just have to be adapted a little bit for on-base baseball. But here in the parentheses, that's if there's 2 outs. If there's 2 outs, the throw goes to first. Otherwise, you're going to check a grounded into double play, which we have a chart for that, and the chart is here. And so you could you could use the base runner's speed, and then we would just do the grounded into double play and just use the base runner's speed here. So if it's, we'd have to change the scale. That's what I mean. There's quite a few changes that would have to be made to some of these columns here. So you would have to change the scale, and the scale would be 0 would be like a 5, I guess, or a 4. And then you would have less than that and less than that. You know, maybe it would be 3 and then less than 3. And then this would be 5 to 6, and this would maybe 6 and greater. And then you roll again, and then the green is safe, the red is out, or a completion, right? So green is a double play, the red is a fielder's choice. So it gives you the kind of what each thing means under here. There's also a player finder here for ground balls, fly balls, line drives, which we don't separate out line drives in this game. It gives us what the out composition is. It's either a ground ball or a fly ball. Actually, there are line drives, so we could do that as well. We could use that chart for line drives. So you can do that player finder. In precision baseball, every single play is run through the player finder, and every single play has an error attached to it as well. So you could have more precision with your errors this way than you can just doing a 1 or a 2. You can see there's, you know, up to a 2 to 12 roll, or up to 20, 2 D10s, or 3 D10s. Range, I don't remember where that comes into play. I don't think it comes into play on this sheet. It comes into play on somewhere else. I can't remember exactly for sure, but there's a double play that's on the fielder. Grounded into double play is on the batter. So you're doing the same thing, but you're checking 2 different players. Outfield arm would be challenging the outfield arm. There's also base running. So for tag ups and taking extra bases, that's here. And if you're not using the outfield arm, you're using the base running. So that would be on the runner. Outfield arm would be on the player in the field. And that's all sort of decided for you based on a comparison of the two. So it would have to be a little bit different because you would be using defense and speed. We only have the 2 values for their to be able to roll things against, and defense encompasses outfield arm, but it's not the fullness of outfield arm. So maybe some things would need to change. We have stealing, second, third, and home. Oh, and on the backside, I mean, you have this for every single infielder, right? So even the pitcher. And then it gives you a little key as to what the little numbers mean. So if you see the little house top, then if there are 2 outs, then you use the play in the parentheses. If there's an asterisk, then that means there's a fielder's choice. And if there's less than 2 outs, then the runner scores. And then if there's the pointing that way, it's a runner holding. If it's pointing that way, it's a runner advancing. So quite a bit of things, quite a few things here. If there's a question mark, then you have to roll against it. So DP question mark is, now you have to roll off of this chart. So again, I'm using this for precision baseball. If you want to go and look on this channel, you'll find some games with precision baseball, and you'll see how the charts are used in that game. But I did this so that it could be bolted on to any game. If you have a game like On Base that doesn't have a lot of like detail and fielding, you could bolt on any of these parts and then use them for your game. So like if you wanted more direction on when to run, let's say on a fly ball or something like that. So you get a fly ball that does not have the advance. So this one has the advance, but let's say you get a fly out here and you have a runner at third base and you want to know, is he going to take off or not? Then you would look at the appropriate fielder and then you would roll against it. If it's a red, he's going to stay. Green means go, and then yellow means it's the gamer's decision about whether you want to chance it or not. And then you just have to roll against the player's speed, which you do on the go as well. but it's sort of this is like that third base coach sort of idea. So it's kind of forcing you into rolling, and he's like, go home on the fly ball, and now you have to roll against the player's speed. So that's how that is. You can see there are a lot more gamer decisions in right field and center field, fewer in left field. A lot more holds, and I tried to just be contextual. If the ball's hit to right field, it's a very rare situation where you're even going to have the chance to go from first to second on a fly ball to right field. If the runner's at second base, there's still a very small percentage of where he has to go, but there's a bigger percentage of, okay, this is the gamer's decision to decide whether to go or not. And then basically you can think about this as depth. So the green would be like farther hit to the outfield, so you're going to be more inclined to send the runner. Any of the red would be sort of more of a shallow fly ball. So those are fly balls, and then there's also a line drive chart. So what to do on line drives. This brings double plays into the game. So again, you have your outfield, and then it's, do you run on a line drive? And it's very rare that you're going to run on a line drive to the outfield, right? It's just not very common. So you get fewer opportunities to run. There's more stay than there is go. And then for a line drive, let's say to first base, some of these are going to be where the yellow you have to decide, or you have to roll against the double play. It's a double play check. Red is no double play on a line drive. So here, line drive hit to third, or to the pitcher with a runner at third. There's no opportunity for a double play. It's all no double play. But if it's runners at first and second, and it's hit to the pitcher, then there's an opportunity. There's one chance for an automatic double play here, where you would catch it, turn to second, and fire, and get the runner at second base. That kind of thing. So this would be your infield line drives and first base, and then your outfield line drives. So it just gives you a little bit more direction, you know what I mean, on how to do fielding plays, because there's more to be had, right? There's more fielding to be had than, he fields it over to first base, or he fields it, and what should I do here? Should I take the fielder's choice? I don't know. And then there's some kind of really rare, but there's some all safe in here, so like a little infield hit kind of thing where it's hit to the catcher, and if you roll a 2, then everybody's safe. Which a 2 is much more difficult to roll than, say, a 7. So anything through here are going to be your common numbers. These are your common plays. And then up on the edges are going to be your uncommon plays. So you get a 2 unassisted. That's like a runner coming home. So the runner from third comes home, and it's like a 2 unassisted on the play. 2-3, you throw it to first, the runner comes home and scores. You go to first, and both runners are going to advance. So there's some different types of plays in here. I don't know where there's some funky ones. Here's a funky one. So that's like a ball is hit to first base. Bases are loaded. You go 3-2, so first base to catcher, and then you roll for the double play. So this is like a catch it, throw home, and then you have to roll for the double play. Is it a fielder's choice where you only get the one out, or do you go home first to home, back to first for the double play? So there's some kind of funky ones on here, especially as you get to the edges here. So second and third, you go second base to third base, and then you have to roll against that to see did we make the play or not. And then the runner is going to advance home. So the guy from third scores. So basically he's making the catch going to third base, and then the runner from third scores. So just some interesting things. It was fun to think about all the different scenarios and what could happen on a play, based on how a ball went. So those are a possibility to add to on-base baseball, just because you're already using you're already using the 2d6 roll. So I added that in. Originally it was just the 3d10s, but I originally then I added the 2d10s and the 2d6s, because I thought, well, there's lots of games that include they either have 2d6s or 2d10s, and it would be easy to just kind of incorporate a roll. Not very many games have 3d10s, so if we just adapted that to each of the different rolls, then that would be easier to kind of bolt on to another game and use that for more detail if you wanted to. So you could use any of those charts, and maybe I can adapt those for on-base baseball a little bit better for the speed and the defense, and make those available to everybody. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments, and I'll post that to the on-base Facebook group and Clark and Addison Facebook group too, and see would people want more detail in the fielding like that, just as a bolt-on addition, and maybe make those things available to people. That will be in the future. I'm still creating sets for on-base baseball. So I just realized, because I have the roster sheets, I have these roster sheets going all the way back to 1949. It should be very easy for me to create card sets. I think I'm making this a lot more difficult than I need to make it. So I'm going to double down on that, and that should really speed up card production, actually. Because I've already done, that's the hard work, is getting the data processed, and then, creating the cards is not, I've got a formula for creating the cards, so that's actually not very difficult. So this should actually be a lot easier than I'm making it. I think I worked too hard on the 1991 set, and it didn't take very long, but I think I still worked too hard. So we'll just I'll go back and revisit that, and I'll see how that goes. And maybe we can pump out some sets here to cover from 1940 all the way through 2029. That's what I have already processed already for the roster sheets. So I should be able to do that pretty quickly. So maybe I can pump out the 60s, 70s, and 80s. If you want 40s and 50s, let me know. And I'm not going to hold back necessarily. I just want to kind of know where to start. I think 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s is probably where most gamers are who would be playing on-base baseball at this point. All right. I think that's it for this. So that was quite a bit extra. If you stayed longer, good on you. And hope you're having a good weekend. Like I said, there might be a little bit of a break over the next few weeks, just because we're making a big move. So won't be as much time to be able to do this in the morning, and not exactly sure what my schedule is going to be as we go through that process. So I have to figure that out and play it by ear, and see how that goes. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up. That's a super easy way for you to help to grow the channel. And I'm not trying to grow it to make a bunch of money, but I am trying to grow it to get the name out there for on-base baseball. And I'd love to see millions of people playing on-base, but probably won't happen. But because I think it's a fun game, it's a fun way to pass the time. It brings together a lot of elements of old school baseball games. You're talking like APBA and earlier, games from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, sort of the pre-golden age of dice baseball. And so I went all the way back to that to create on base, and I took traditional just sort of dice games that kids would play in their backyard or on a rainy day, and then souped it up a little bit, made categories. And it's basically, if you played one category of pitcher and one category of batter, and you just played that through the whole game, it would be a dice baseball game. But it's sort of dice baseball expanded, because now it includes pitching as well, and some pitching influence, and not just a 50-50 influence, but a little bit more subtle than a 50-50 game. So interesting game, and it's a little bit APBA, it's a little bit Strat, it's a little bit dice baseball, it's a little bit national pastime. It's a little bit of a lot of things, and bringing those things together around sabermetric values. So we use those sabermetric values in the game. No formulas. There's nothing figured out here. You get the straight sabermetric values. You can make this game on your own with any season. I appreciate everybody who buys the cards. That's really all I've ever wanted to charge people for. You can actually go and get the game engine. You can download the game engines for free at clarkandaddisongaming.com. So all the different game engines contextualized for different eras or decades, and from 1940 to 2000, the early 2000s. So you can actually download those game engines, and they look like this, but they're contextualized to that era. So the pitching is going to look more, fewer strikeouts and things like that. So the way a pitcher affects the game in 1940 is not the way he affects the game in 2023. And the same thing with batting. So taking into account percentage of home runs and stuff like that. So it looks a little bit more like the era whenever you download some of those other sheets, which allows you to play these modern players in an old-time era, or old-time players in a modern era, which would be a super fun kind of project to do. But it also means that you can play the game outright. I have a video maybe on the On Base, I think it's still on the On Base YouTube channel, that tells you where you can go to get all of these all this data that you can use to play the game. And I give you that in the On Base Baseball DIY kit, which you can download for free. And so you get the game guide, you get the score sheets, you get everything except for the players given to you. So you get all the components of the game, and then you can go out and you can put together your own spreadsheets or your own cards or whatever you want to do for On-Base Baseball. You can expand it or not and get creative with it and twist it and pull it and make it your own. That's the whole point of On-Base Baseball, is to take this basic, bland, vanilla little game that you can play all by itself, or you can take it and make it the game that you really want it to be. So hopefully everyone, as they begin to play it, understands that it's not just a basic game. It's a blank canvas for you to be able to create a game that you want to create. And I think especially for the under 50 crowd, really like that, the ability to be able to take a game and customize it and make it what we want to make it. You could use whatever player sets that you wanted, just as long as they had these values. So a best of, or best players in the 60s, or whatever you want to do. Really, that's totally up to you. You could take the players and you could rearrange them, randomize what team they play on, and then play them, create cards or roster sheets, and then play them that way. So that's my goal, that's my hope, that more people catch that vision and that it's interesting to them, and not just, let me go buy this set and let me go buy this set. Even though I think there's a lot of legitimacy in historical replay. I do that all the time here, and this game does it really well and makes it very easy. You can actually play historical teams across all kinds of eras, just because I'm using sabermetric stats as the game engine, and I'm not using things that are variable like ERA or batting average or whatever. So I'm not looking at home runs as a way of generating the power numbers for the batters. And so these formulas cut across time. They're all batting runs is park adjusted, so ballpark adjusted and era adjusted. So these are adjusted numbers. So if you have 50 home runs at Yankee Stadium, and you have 50 home runs at the Polo Grounds, those are not two the same things, and those are adjusted in the number, not in how many home runs they hit, but it's adjusted in the number that we're using in the game for batting runs. So you can be assured that the numbers that we're using are park adjusted and era adjusted, so you can actually play Babe Ruth against Barry Bonds, and you can see which they're both the same type of hitter, and we already know that. But maybe there was another guy who He was a 45 batting runs 1 year, and he's going to put up Ruthian type numbers. So because they are on the same scale. So it's a very interesting game, interesting concept. I know it's way different than most of the tabletop games out there in the simulations. So thank you to everyone who's tried it. Hopefully more people will try it. And like I said, giving it a thumbs up to this video allows Google to spread it a little bit more. And sharing it with your community will expose more people to the game. Sharing the games that you play with the game itself is going to encourage more people to get in on the action. Just you can see just from the diversity of scores and types of games in this series, there's a lot of variability, but it feels realistic to be able to play these games. You're not getting wild swings where every game is 10-8, but also not every game is 1-0, although there are some 1-0 games. It does occasionally happen, just like in real life, and occasionally, you know, the 14-7 football as baseball game happens as well. So, which actually occasionally happens in baseball. So, and most games are in the normal range, you know, 7 to 10 total runs per game, just like you would normally expect. So hopefully this proves it out, and this is maybe my first opportunity to really show on a large scale or a larger project how on-base baseball plays, and you can see for yourself, you can see the results of the game yourself, see how they turn out, and does that seem realistic to you whenever certain guys come in the game or certain hitters are at the plate? Do they go through cold streaks and hot streaks? And sometimes that just has to do with the dice, sometimes it has to do with the pitching, honestly. So hopefully you can see all those things in the game as we're playing. And if you have any thoughts or comments or anything about what I've said, just leave them down in the comment section below. I appreciate if you hang around for all this talking at the end. I appreciate you doing that. You're going to kind of get the lowdown or a little bit of inside skinny on the games. If you just stick around for the games themselves, that's fine too. But this is the best way that I know how to communicate with the on-base community, and so I want to keep making sure that I'm including more than just the games themselves, because I'm not a YouTuber who's here to just play games. You know, I'm a designer, and so I'd love some feedback and to be able to share my ideas with everyone as well. So if you have any feedback or thoughts on the game itself, or ways that can be improved, or you know, ideas like this fielding bolt-on idea of adding some detail to the fielding, just let me know down in the comment section. I'm super quick on getting back to you, so that is not a problem. All right, I think that's it from here. So Tampa Bay wins this one 10-1. When's it going away? Yandy Diaz with a big day. And they take down the Orioles in Game 4, so they win this series 3-1. They take them down 10-1. Tyler Glasnow with a big game, and they will be headed off to the ALCS. The next game that you see recorded and posted here is going to be Game 1 from Houston, Texas. It will be Toronto at Houston, and that will be Game 1 of the second ALDS. So our last divisional series will get kicked off, and after that we'll jump back into the NLCS once we decide the winner of Toronto at Houston. All right, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.